Hello. This week, today is Thursday, March 19th. It's about 9:30 p.m. Yeah, we're gonna go through the recap. Um, so I did not get a ton of reading done this week. I went home to go see my family for some family stuff. So I didn't get a lot of time over the weekend, and then just without getting time on the weekend to be like in my apartment and doing my life, a lot of this week has been catching up on like cooking and uh, just life and like adulting. So I did not get a ton of reading done, but I did get through like another 30 or 40 pages in the book and some of the themes or things that are jumping out in that I'm noticing in what I've been considering this week. So kind of dive into that a little bit. But eating, as you saw at the start, I made this gnocchi with that's arugula and asparagus. It's like in a miso sort of butter situation. It was really tasty. It was really tasty. I was happy about it. I was proud of it. Also had some yummy Chinese food. Uh, and nice cocktails. It was nice to see my family. Yeah. Considering. So lately, I've kind of binged the absolute hell out of the Pit. From the start of this week, I finished all of season one, and now I am about halfway through season two, which is shocking. It's a lot of television, but I can't put it down. And one of the big things that really jumps out to me about the show is that every single character is flawed, right? Like no one is perfect, um, and that's something that jumps out to me in the book that I'm reading, which is like the characters feel very full and very human, and part of it is because they like nothing is perfect about the situation, and there's like people are resistant to certain things, and people make bad decisions. Like life is complicated and messy. And what I'm noticing in the Pit and why the characters feel so good and like not like they feel real and full and really interesting, and I need to know what happens in their lives. Is that they feel human. They feel very real. But I think part of what has been bouncing around in my head regarding this is that like yeah, like that's being human. Um, so following like the terrible year I had last year, I've been like I've been giving myself a lot of grace and a lot of patience and a lot of it I think is coming from an acceptance of not perfect at all, far from it, but that that is the kindest and most loving way that I can approach myself. Um, and yeah, so that's been in my brain. But I was interested. I gotta sort of dive a little bit deeper onto this topic with a coworker of mine. Just in a brief, like we had like 30 minutes to kind of just chat while we were waiting for someone. We started talking about how his kid plays Roblox, right? And we were talking about like what was going on there, and I our conversation basically dove into like the sense of self that exists with younger generations. What the hell? Um, the sense of self that exists with younger generations compared to the sense of self that exists in older generations. What I think we notice in younger generations is that they will use uh, different pronouns quicker in like earlier stages. They will have a better sense of who they are earlier in their life. So like who they might be into, right? What they would like out of it, like what they would like out of their life, right? And I think a lot of this comes from the sense of self is fragmented into different versions, right? So on online personas in video games, and for like his 9 year old who plays Roblox, right? They get to develop a persona, right? And from that, they can display their self differently. And it made me think about this video that came across my feed where creator was talking about this book that talks about queerness and Dungeons and Dragons, and how that is a really, really good space for people to figure out who they are, because you get to like come up with a character, right? Like, well, and it made me think about the characters I often like to play as. Like I prefer to play as female characters over male characters in video games. It feels better to me. I like playing as a woman in the games. And I play a lot of Baldur's Gate, which I've mentioned before. And I I prefer playing as a woman. I think the way that I then engage with the world around me in that feels a little bit more in line with how I would like to go about it. And I notice when I've had male character designs in the game, um, I've picked like a giant drow paladin, right? And I'm like, that's not really how I play the game. Like, it's not how I want to play the game. Like, I can finish that campaign and do it. Um, but it's just not how I want to go about it. Yeah. So, but to continue on that, it made me think about the discussions I've been having about perfectionism over the past couple weeks, and the online persona that exists is a perfected self, right? So it's like one version of the self, and then there's the self, like me, the real me, right? And then there's my online personas that I can have. So already, like, there's versions of myself splitting off, and as a result of that, the core of all of like a social, like the mask you wear socially, the mask you wear digitally, the mask you wear like in front of friends, the mask you wear just for yourself, right? Like all of these things allow for, I think are often, or my perception is that it's perceived negatively by older generations, that like the self is fragmented, right? Like like yes, there are like more interpretations of who you are out there, right? But that's not a bad thing, right? There's like, it's more opportunity to figure out who you are that's there, um, which I think is a very beautiful thing. So that's been bumping around in my head a lot this week, which has been nice. And I need to go follow up on a conversation I had with another coworker where, like a brief little, like 1-2 conversation where I had said something along the lines of, like we were in an all staff meeting, they were displaying what might go on show next, and he's like, yeah, a lot of this is about identity, and I'm like, yeah, isn't all art kind of about identity at the end of the day? And he was like, no, and I was like, we'll talk about this later, but for me, I think like all art, it's almost impossible to separate identity from it. The art itself, right? Like that's how we see the artwork. That's how we understand the artwork. We look at the context it's in, who made it, and like their identity and how they approached it, and whether the artist intended for it to be about their identity or not. I think it's kind of about that, right? Like, like it's sometimes we're able to like kind of separate that out, but like even in cases like Banksy, where don't know who the guy is, um, that's part of their identity, is that they have another persona where they are this like mythical artist thing, right? And like that's it, and it's ultimately about, as a result, the like the art is kind of about the artist who did it, even though it's about like greater issues greatly, but it's still like the name is tied to it, right? Like there's endless amounts of like beautiful and really impactful street art out there, but what we look at with Banksy's is the fact first that it's a Banksy, right? That it's that person making it, and they chose this thing, right? And it further puts a greater spotlight on what they're talking about, right? But it's because of who they are and the kinds of issues they approach that we start to look at it like that. So that's been bumping around in my head. Arting this week. I did not grab a better photo of it, but on this artwork that I was working on, this thing, I felt I was too pulled to this this right side of the piece, so I added this black strip that goes up the whole thing. It's not actually black. It's close to black. It's like a very, very dark purpley blue, because I don't want it to be black. I don't want it to be flat. I want it to be dark. So I did that. I haven't really done much. I did a little train drawing of my mom, which was nice, and I drew these clementines later. Didn't document. I didn't take a photo of the sketchbook page. There's some other little sketchbook thingies I did. Yeah. But yeah, not too much. Maybe I'll get some work done this week on some stuff. I started this thing behind me, which is literally just laying out colors. So that was nice. And then playing. I have not played any video games this week. Most of my play. I haven't really done much play this week at all. So I'm hoping to get some done this weekend. I'm gonna see some friends. So go let my inner child out. But I hope everyone has a lovely rest of their week. And I will talk to people next week. Bye bye.